Assalamualaikum and good day to all. My name is Syahrulnaim bin Abdul Hamid and I'm supervised by TS Dr. Muhammad bin Fauzi, and my topic for Bachelor Degree Project 1 is investigating the effect of heat treatment on mechanical properties and microstructure of low carbon steels joined with ER70S filler metals.
So this is the presentation outline that I will present later, and presentation begin with introduction. Firstly, for the introduction, in oil and gas industry, the most common used type of steel is low carbon steel. This is because it is less expensive to manufacture than medium carbon and high carbon steel. Besides, low carbon steel has a carbon content of only 0.3%, making it extremely easy to weld compared to the others. However, it has a disadvantage where it is poor in strength, weaker and softer than other steel type. Besides, welding is used to construct the majority of structure. Welding is a common metal joining process that is both reliable and efficient. The process of fusing two or more pieces of material into a single entity is referred to as welding. However, many problems arise during the welding process as a result of the different amounts of heat input as well as the quality of the weldment. So this research is to identify the changes in mechanical properties on the low carbon steel by heat treatment to change the grain size and modify the structure of the material. The media for the quenching, which is rapid cooling of heated metal, also will be observed to obtain the desirable material properties. Next, for the problem statement of the research, during the welding process, rapid heating and cooling occur, which causes a several thermal cycle along the weld line region of any metal that is submerged in the heating zone. This cycle can be detrimental to the integrity of the weld. Because of the thermal cycle, the material does not heat up and cool down in an even manner. This causes the material to have a heat-affected zone that is more rigid, sustaining stress, and a preponderance of cool cracking in both the weld method and the base metal. And one of the most serious concerns about welded carbon steel corrosion is the metallurgical factor. These changes to the component's properties are normally undesirable and they ultimately result in the component's weakest point. Microstructural changes, for instance, can lead to residual stress, reduction in material strength, and increase in brittleness, lower resistance to corrosion, and cracking. The objective of this research is first to study the non-destructive test utilizing liquid penetrant inspection and radiography testing. Second, to perform the process of heat treatment that is annealing and tempering on welded joint. Third, to investigate the effect of heat treatment and ER70S filler wire on the mechanical test and microstructural properties. The scope of this research are as follows. First, this experiment used GMO type of welding machine which use ER70S filler wire. A steel specimen will join with base metal using ER70S filler wires. Second, non-destructive test using liquid penetrant and radiography to identify the internal and external welding flaws. Third, the specimen will go through a heat treatment process at different temperature and different type of cooling rate. And fourth, the experiment will conduct to investigate the effect of heat treatment and ER70S filler wire on the mechanical and microstructural properties. Fifth, the experiment will test the mechanical properties of the three joints and the relationship between the microstructure and the mechanical properties will be clarified. And last one is the mechanical and microstructure test experiment and morphological characterization will carry out to investigate the properties by scanning electron microscopy and energy dispersed X-ray analysis. Gas metal arc welding GMAW, also known as metal inert gas (MEG), is a type of gas shielded welding that is typically performed manually but can be automated. Because the filler wire also serves as an electrode, coils of solid bare wire are used to deliver the filler. The coil is fed automatically into the joint where It is melted in the arc and deposited in the wet groove, eliminating the need for manual feeding. The typical parameters for welding mild and low alloys using GMAW are present in the table. When welding mild and low steels, these two methods of metal transfer are typically used as parameter in the welding process. Depending on the application, alloying element are in the wire, and the shading inert gas can be any of the following. It can be argon, helium, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, or a combination of any of these cases. For the purpose of joining large section of metal, gas metal arc welding is an arc welding process that sees a lot of use because of its distinctive characteristic. These benefits include an increased process efficiency, a better wire electrode deposition rate, regulated high thermal energy dissipation, and no oxidation as a result of the use of shielding gas. In addition to this, the gas metal arc welding method produce weld that are both more aesthetically pleasing and of higher quality than those produced by the shielding gas arc welding process. The study of the reasons behind why metal behave in the ways they do is known as metallurgy. This provides an explanation of the properties, behavior, and internal structure of the metals. In addition, the term metallurgy can refer to the treatments and processes that are used to modify the properties of a metal so that it can be used for a particular purpose. The ability of gas metal arc welding to weld two metals that are mechanically identical or mechanically dissimilar, specifically ferrous and non-ferrous metals, is the topic of the metallurgy that is discussed in this case study. According to the research by Rahman, numerous studies are currently being conducted in the field of metallurgical engineering to investigate the ways in which heat treatment may be utilized to improve the physical and mechanical characteristics of low carbon steels. When two grains come into contact with one another, the result is a grain boundary because there is a mismatch in the order atoms of the two grains. Each crystal has an order array of atoms. A wide range of the material's properties can be altered as a direct result of imperfection in the crystal structure, such as dislocation and point defects. To ensure that the weldment parameters are satisfied, the crystal structure of the metal is used to select the type of welding that is most appropriate. Low carbon steel have a body center cubic microstructure which can change during the formation and joining of the weld pool, and as a result, the welded surface will have a heterogeneous microstructures. Carbon steels can be divided into one of three categories, which is low carbon steels, medium carbon steels, and high carbon steels. The term low, medium, and high alloy refers to the amount of carbon in the steels. The following table shows the comparison of the carbon content, microstructure, and characteristics of these different materials. We can see that low carbon steels was located at the lowest grade of steels. The type of carbon steel that sees the most usage is known as low carbon steels. The carbon content of these steels is typically lower than 0.25 weight% on average because they are unable to be hardened by heat treatment, which forms martensites. This is typically accomplished through cool working. Carbon steels are typically characterized by low strength and relative pliability. On the other hand, they have a high ductility, which makes them great for machining and welding, in addition to being inexpensive. Although high-strength low alloy steels are frequently categorized as low carbon steels, the increased tensile and tensile yield strength of high-strength low alloy steels are achieved through heat treatment as the name suggests. They also maintain ductility, which allows them to be easily formed and machined into different shapes. Carbon steel is a metal that is known for its high strength and excellent resistance to wear and tear. It is the type of steel that is utilized the most frequently in the oil and gas industry, such as pipeline, structure, component, platform, and a variety of other types of objects can all be built with it. Next, for the heat treatment. So, firstly, the term heat treating refers to a group of industrial, thermal, and metalworking processes that are used to change the physical and sometimes chemical properties of a material by subjecting it to a heating and cooling process. The optimal characteristic of a metal can only be achieved through the use of heat treatment, which can either soften or condition the metal, as in normalizing and annealing, or harden the metal, as in hardening, quenching, and tempering. On this comparison type of heat treatment, I am focusing compared to type that will be performed in this study, which is annealing and tempering. This is the finding from previous research that used same material low carbon steel but variable in type of heat treatment used. As example, from the article by Reyes, the steel toughness and tensile strength are both decreased after tempering, while its level of hardness is slightly increased. The sample microstructure reveals that tempering results in the formation of martensite along with recrystallization of ferrite. And another example from the Prabhakaran and Khanna research that used annealing found that after being subjected to post-wet heat treatment at 960 degrees Celsius, the chromium carbide was successfully dissolved, and it did not precipitate once more in the grain or on the grain boundaries of the wet zone. The figure presents a flowchart that illustrates the general internal process that was carried out for the purpose of this study. The items required for the preparation of this workpiece is a low-carbon steel plate with single V-groove wet preparation on the surface that will be joined. This faying surface shape, also known as edge preparation before welding, that has the potential to increase the wet strength. But wet is the type of joint that is most suitable for this type of fabrication, and the most common type of joint that is used for this type of fabrication. This is because these two pieces of metal are placed together in the same plane and duet in the faying surface V-groove that has been done. The dimension of the workpiece is as mentioned in the figure. Liquid penetrant test is a non-destructive material testing method which uses capillary force to find surface cracks or pores and make them visible to detect surface breaking flaws. Radiographic testing, also known as non-destructive testing, is a technique that analyzes flaws or defects in the internal structure of manufactured components. The amount of radiation that travelled through the test specimen and arrived at the film was captured on film and displayed as a radiograph. If the specimen were thicker and denser, then less radiation would be able to pass through it. If the substance was whole and free of imperfections, then the rest passed through it in an equal and consistent manner. The workpiece was divided into smaller samples with the assistance of the waterjet machine. This was accomplished by slicing a very thin line into the material being processed with an extremely high pressure stream of water. The drawing of the sample was created in AutoCAD before it went through the waterjet process, and the size of the sample was measured to be 50 mm times by 10 mm times by 10 mm for hardness and microstructure test samples, and 55 mm times by 10 mm times by 10 mm for impact test samples. In this slide shows the process in performing heat treatment for annealing and tempering. The temperatures that will be used during the annealing process are 950 degrees Celsius and 500 degrees Celsius for tempering. After completion of the heat treatment annealing method, the samples were cooled at room temperature. As for tempering, it is a little different, where the cooling is using a quenching method that uses oil. For the mechanical test, two testing will be conducted, where the first test was Rockwell to evaluate the hardness behavior of treated and untreated materials. A ball indenter was used to make the impression in the samples. The indentation was made on the surface of the three primary regions which are base metal, wet material, and heat affected zone. And the second test is the impact test, that is namely as Charpy test. Charpy is a strain rate test that involves impacting a standard notch sample with a control weight pendulum as it swung from a head that was previously determined. The amount of energy that was taken in for the sample being unbroken is what to be measured. There are three machining that will be used in identifying the microstructure characterization, which is optical microscope creates a magnified image of an object specimen with an objective lens and magnifies the image furthermore with an eyepiece to allow the user to observe it by the naked eye. Second is scanning electron microscopy. It's a method that allows for a very detailed examination of the cells. This SEM can be used to analyze and calculate evaluation on a scale that can range anywhere from millimeters to nanometers. And last one is energy dispersed X-ray spectroscopy, which can provide a more comprehensive view of samples' local chemical composition. For the preliminary finding, a non-destructive test was performed on the workpiece, and after placing the developer, the dye penetrant showed the presence of a porosity and spatter type of defect on the welded zone as shown in the figure. According to the earlier article by Wang, as the welding speed increased, the porosity also increased dramatically and large pores begin to appear. The weld speed will determine the pore size distribution in the joint that are produced. And for the spatter defect, from the article by Cheng, On says that the process parameters have obvious effect on the fluid flow characteristic in the melt pool and the dynamic behaviors of metal vapors in the keyhole, both of which effect of the spatter behaviors. These behaviors are in turn affected by the process parameters. When the power and speed parameters are set to their lower setting, the fluid flow in the melt pool becomes unstable. Radiographic testing also has been done, which use gamma rays to examine any flaws or defect in the internal structure. And as a result for the testing, there is no crack or any defect occur on the inside of the welded zone. This result can be seen in the figure. My expected result based on previous article, the annealing will produce a good result in testing. As mentioned by Ding, recrystallization occurs at higher temperature as minute new crystal appears in the microstructure. They usually appear in the regions of highest deformation such as at grain boundaries or slit planes. Due to this article, annealing can produce a good result in growing the grain as our high temperature 950 degrees Celsius parameter set for annealing is a ideal temperature in changing of grains.